Hey guys, what's going on? It's your girl Queen G of Queen G Live Experience. Welcome to another segment. I am just feeling really, really, really great. I don't know if y'all could tell, but this is springtime. Especially for us in the South here in Texas, you can feel the weather difference. You can feel the flow of the weather change, and it's sunny. It feels great. It feels amazing, and all that good stuff. And when the weather change, honey, I love it. I'm a lover of great weather, and I like to get out and about and kind of mix and mingle, and get out in the good weather. But anyway, happy spring. Yesterday was officially Easter. I pray that you guys enjoy your day with family, with your ministries. I got a chance to catch a couple of live performances at churches online, and that was amazing to see. You know, the resurrection of Christ online. That was amazing. So I caught a couple of ministries, especially here at Victory Outreach here in Texas. Caught a couple of online, and I just listen, you guys. If you ain't never learned anything from me, understand this: family is everything. You have to stick as close to your family as possible. You have to build and create your own traditions, memories, that kind of thing with your families, and just hug and love upon your loved ones, because honey, tomorrow's not promised for any of us. We saw that last year with the COVID and all the things that we experienced. And I just always want to definitely recommend that you stick close to your family. Very, very important. So anyway, I'm not gonna drag it out because I got a special guest for you that's gonna blow you away. Okay. This young man, I call him, is definitely very, very influential. He has been in my life. He has been in the city of Las Vegas. He has been very powerful, a very powerful entity in the community. He is now a husband and an expected father. He is a twin, I believe. I believe, if I can remember well, and he go tell me yay or nay on that part, but I believe he's a twin, a very good kid, and just wants to empower us as Black people, as a community. He wants us all to be uplifted, and every since I've known this young man, that's what he's been about. He's been about positive and community and things like that. So without any further ado, I want to introduce my very, very special guest, Minister Stretch Sanders. Welcome to the Queen G Live Experience, officially, officially, officially.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you. Thank you so much. I am honored and humble. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you well.
Okay. I am honored and extremely humbled to be on the show. Queen G, I love me some Queen G. And so I love what you do. And I'm just extremely proud of you and the success that you're having. And yes, I'm just excited to be here. I am a twin, so you remember good. And
okay, good. Because my memory been kind of messed up lately, so I couldn't remember quite, but I thought you were a twin, and I'm a twin mom, so we kind of got a little something in common too with that whole dynamic. And you guys are fraternal. Are you fraternal or identical?
Fraternal.
Fraternal. And see, I'm a fraternal twin mom, so I understand the dynamic of that. You always have your own identity. You know what I'm saying? Even though you share the same wound with your brother, and it's never you and him, combined. It's like you have your own separate, world and entities and things like that. So isn't that interesting?
That is. And I enjoy it. I think that growing up, it's hard being a twin because you're in like competition, and especially when you don't really look like the ideal people think when they think of twins. And so you feel like, okay, well, we're twins, but we technically look like two different people. So then it builds this competition. But then as you get older, you know, and like you said earlier, you know, family, it becomes more important in your adulthood,
Oh yeah.
and you closer and closer. So it's a beautiful thing. We have different paths, different missions as far as like while we were here on Earth, we're into different things, but we're still twins that love each other and empower each other, you know. And we try to eventually. I'm trying to get in his world. You know, he gonna try to get in mine. We can collaborate on some things. I know he's more so into the music and things like that. So yeah, it's good. But yeah, I'm
That's
honored to be here, excited
awesome.
to be here, and I really appreciate you for blessing me with your platform and your audience. You know, so I'm honored.
Oh my goodness. You know what? I'm gonna tell everybody. The other day, you actually just kind of like picked up the phone and called me and checked on me. And my God, like that's amazing to me because you're so hands-on, you know, with people. To the point where you would take a moment and out of your busy schedule and just call me and check on me. So I was just really impressed with that. Really, really impressed with that. I want to kind of start. I think a good place to start with this interview would be from childhood and kind of going back in time with your life. Um, I remember when I was a kid in high school or in school and things like that, there was always something special to me, right? Always a little something that stood out, or teachers would say, she's going to be a bright kid one day, or she's going to be this. Did your teachers have that same kind of sentiment about you, or were you a screw up? Take us back. Take us back in time.
Well, definitely not a screw up. But you know what though? Probably to some. You know, I always say people have different experiences. I can't speak for them because I don't know what the experience of me was as far as what they were thinking. What some share with me was I was always a good kid, but I had to be the class clown. One of my teachers
Okay.
would call me Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy. I just always one of the traits that I think the world doesn't really know about me is that I'm really funny. And I'm not saying it being boastful or anything like that, but it's just true. It's part of who I am. But when I got into the movement, you know, you got to kind of suppress certain things to kind of really maintain this image that you think you have to be this organizer, this activist. So I kind of scale back from the musical side of me and the comedian side of me. But I've always was funny. I always enjoy watching stand-ups, and I would see Martin and Jamie Foxx. Like, I want to be like that, do shows like that. And you know, as I got older, you know, things kind of shift. But when I was younger, that was really it. They thought I smiled a lot. You know, even now as an adult, when I get uncomfortable, I'll start smiling. And wife would be like, "What you
Really?
laughing at?" You know, and so it's just something I use as a mechanism as a child. So I think that was the downfall. When I was in first grade, one of my teachers, her name was Miss Eccles. She told my mom in first grade, she said he's a good kid, but he just has to be the class clown. So that was like, I think my grandma still has that like report card where she wrote that on the report card. And then
I
my
remember when
senior year
they
in
had
high
those.
school,
I remember when they had those report card where they would
mhm,
write hand notes
and
and leave. Yeah.
my my senior year in high school, me and my twin brother actually we were nominated in the yearbook and we won for class clown, both of us. So that was the old stretch. I was the class clown. If you ask anybody that knows me, teachers. So I think that was more so me. But I think people knew I wasn't a destructive child. I wasn't a angry child or trying to hurt people. I think that what would be my irritant if I had one was just I didn't know it's a time and place. I would probably crack jokes when it's not time. Teacher trying to teach, I'm trying to
Oh,
be
I see.
silly, you know, stuff like that. But again, I think that any real teacher, I feel like would look past that and see my heart. But again, I know I had some teachers who didn't like me. I knew that thing. They just couldn't understand the comedy, and it was just too much. So I was gonna say, if you
Mhm.
ask some of them, depending on their experience, hey, they may consider that a screw up. But I think I still keep in with a few of my teachers on Facebook from
Okay.
early as fourth grade. and they comment and share my stuff, say they proud of me, you know. So it's good feedback now.
Where did you grow up? What city? Was it in Las Vegas or was it in somewhere else? Where did you grow up?
And so I'm born and raised in Chicago. I moved to Las Vegas
Okay.
at 16 years old. We actually wanted to go to LA because, you know, when we saw LA, we didn't see what y'all probably see or you probably saw growing up in LA. The Strata, Compton, and all that, you know, the Crips and Bloods. We didn't see none of that. What we saw was, you want to blow up, you know, Don Cornelius, who created Soul Train, he was from Chicago, moved to LA,
Right.
and he blew up. So that's what we saw. You know, like, you want to make it, go to Hollywood, go to Los Angeles. And my mom, she shut that down. She was like, no, I don't think that's a good move. We ain't never been on the West Coast. That's a little fast paced. And she was like, but we can probably think of Vegas. Because she said Arizona. We kind of really broke it down. She was like, I don't really know Utah. That ain't really us. Arizona's a little too slow. Vegas still has the entertainment capital and this entertainment.
Right.
We definitely learned that Vegas is the tale of two cities, like most major cities. It's not what people think. There's the glitz and glamour, and there's also that poverty side where white supremacy is in control and low-income families are struggling. It's the Vegas that I call it the real Vegas, the
The
Vegas
real
that.
Vegas.
And so, you know, we moved from
I think
Chicago.
your mom made a great choice with that. Because like you said, California, I grew up in Cali. You know, that was my hometown, and it was very fast paced. So fast paced where you didn't really get a chance to kind of slow down and, you know, figure out who you were. It's kind of like it was just always a race. But me living in Vegas too, now I can see how it's that perfect balance of, you know, let me slow down and figure out what my identity is, but enough to also be a part of that glitz glamour. It has all the elements you need, you know, kind of in Vegas. So what age did you guys, you know, move to Vegas? How old were you when you finally settled down?
Mom was 48, and then me and my twin was 16.
Okay.
And we literally was gone. We found an apartment in December, and they made my mom's. It was December of 2010. Sent the deposit, and then February we was trying to pick a day, and she was like, "We just gonna leave next month." And March 7th we left. You know, March 7th, 2011. It was definitely one of the most. I think it was one of the greatest things I've ever experienced, and I think my mom could ever done for us. But it wasn't what people thought. You know, a lot of my family didn't realize we really struggled. You know, I didn't grow up in Chicago.
Mhm.
People in Chicago, I think they assume we grew up in poverty, but the real poverty, I would say, was moving to Las Vegas. You know, in Chicago, we actually,
Mm.
I wouldn't say we was well off. I would say that, you know, we had a single mom. You know, you got one income, it's gonna be some trial and tribulation. So if her check don't come, or if it's cut off, or, you know, yeah, we suffer because of that. So I would say that we
It's
was,
gonna cause, yeah,
you know,
things,
so,
and it trickles down. Yeah,
absolutely.
man,
So
do I get
I
that?
would say we was low class, like high low class. I wouldn't say middle. I would say high low class, where we had a home, we owned our home. My mom we lived paycheck to paycheck, so she had enough to pay the bills. But again, if her job gave her a pay cut, which was often, it was a struggle. But because my mom is like, she put the hustle, she was a hustler, a go-getter. So she would sell t-shirts. And this is stuff that she still makes to this day: earrings, jewelry, and she'd go out and sell as much stuff as she could, you know, at the lounges she hung out at. And she'd come home with $600 extra, so that was able to supplement our income.
Wow.
And we also came from a village. We came from my grandmother, who's still with us. She was really supportive. My grandmother's brother stepped up to the plate. He gave us allowance from like age
Okay.
9 to like 16. And then my mom's
Okay.
sister, Monty Love, you know, whatever we needed, she was there. So we had a village. And so I do know.
You had a village. Let me ask you this, because you know we're gonna get into the political aspect of you, and other things. How important is it how important is a village for a family? Because we have one here. Like husband's mom is very supportive of her grandkids and things like that. And, you know, they have older siblings, and we have a close knit type of unit as a village. How important is a village? Just kind of break that down from the standpoint of you coming up as a kid.
I think a village is extremely important because, you know, us as Black people, as African Black people, I mean, we're village people, you know, and I think the one thing that the enemy did was they ripped us of the power of leaning on others, right? Well, we have pride. People are sleeping in a tent for they ask for help, you know, and then shame on those that we ask some help from who make us feel bad for asking, you know, and that's not how it's supposed to go. Ask me, you know, if they ain't say nothing, hey, if they need help that bad, they say something. Really? You know what I'm saying? You know that the person, I mean, would you just be so open to ask for help? You know, so it's like a village mindset is you see you don't wait till your brother and sister who's down ask you to lift me up. If you see them down, you pick them up. That's a village mentality. And so I came from that type of family, you know, and it was a balance. They didn't make us feel like we was a charity case. So because my mom is definitely is I wouldn't say prideful, where she is just so full of pride, but like anybody, she has pride, she has standards, she has morals, you know, and she's independent and didn't want to have, you know, have people take care of us. So she wasn't looking for a handout, she was looking for a hand up. But people knew,
Yes,
you know,
yes,
she a go-getter, so she knew she was gonna work it out. But a little assistance in there, it made a difference. And so I take that mentality and I transcend that, you know, in the community. And when I say village, it's not just about family, because my mom, we also, it's too many of them to name, but my mom had a lot of friends, best friends that she's close with to this day, who also stepped up. And it may not have been in forms of money, but our godfather, my Uncle Walt, he would get us every summer and we would go to his house and spend the night for the weekends. And he would take us to play basketball, take us swimming and stuff like that, because he knew you know, he was genuine to us. He was a good man, you know, to me and my twin. So just things like that, teaching us how to work on vehicles. And, you know, so he saw my father wasn't around. He said, this is his sister. So he stepped up to play that role. And so it goes so much bigger than blood, you know. So I think that's the issue with our community. We don't want to be a village no more. Because we think that, you know, by helping somebody, it interferes with what we got going on. If I put her on to a new job, then it like almost, if I light her candle, it put out my flame. But that's an insecurity. That's a low vibrational way of thinking, because any successful person, a person who believes, you know, in themselves and a higher power, knows that you rise uplifting other people. But we live in a society in today where we think it's the complete opposite. You know, I want to see Queen G do good, but not better than me. That is the mentality that we have. And so we're scared to network. We're scared to introduce folks. And so we got to get back to the village mentality. When we were 16 years old, we moved to Vegas. It was a time where we really had like no food. Like I said, we didn't grow up in Chicago like that. I had never opened my refrigerator, and you know, you see on the movies and you see like the ketchup and the baking soda. Like we had a refrigerator like that. And one of our guys to this day, he's in my life. His name is Green Eyes. I think we just happened to talk to him about, and he was Green Eyes got to be. We was 16, he was 32 then, so now he got to be in his 40s. But we end up being under his wing, and I think my brother was just talking too much and pretty much applied that we didn't have a lot of food. And we went back 3 minutes. Green Eyes come over with groceries, you know, and this is like that. You know, we still talk about that. I tell him, you know, he knows he's one brother from the early days that I would do anything for, because you don't forget stuff like that, you know. And my mama started. That was a memory where I was like, man. And so when I go into these neighborhoods and I'm giving out food, I was a recipient of that, you know. And even though Green Eyes wasn't an activist, or he wasn't like doing how we do, but still, he didn't have to give us groceries. So, that
jars your memory of moments like that when you did not have, and the feeling you got when someone completed that moment for you by providing food. So wow, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. That
I'll never forget it.
and you guys are I got a teenage son now. Okay, this is my first time having a boy, and I'm looking at how much he's growing, how much he eats, how much his feet are like growing out. Like, you know what I mean? Y'all require a lot of food at that age. 15, 16, because y'all growing. Y'all going from, a young boy into a man. And it's like you're eating way more and you know what I'm saying? So what a blessing that someone stepped up to the plate and, came through and took care of you guys. So let's talk about that. When did your journey of working within the community begin?
My journey began working with the community. It was I guess I had like a pre-awakening in 2013. I was no, was it 2014? I was a senior. No, 20. Yeah, it was the fall semester, so 2013. I was a freshman in college and going to 2014, and Mike Brown had just got killed, and so I kind of. I was a sophomore. It was a first semester of my sophomore year. I remember being like, man, like, I had never saw movements like the Black Lives Matter movement. I know many of us may have different perspectives. It's like a controversial topic now with, is Black Lives Matter good for us? Is Black Lives Matter not good for us? What does the movement look like? But nonetheless, when I speak in terms of Black Lives Matter, I'm speaking in terms of the birth of it, when it was just an innocent thing to the masses. When Black Lives Matter came out, I was mesmerized. I had never saw anything like that. And to see people go on freeways, the level of courage, because I'm a student, even though I wasn't always Minister Stretch, I always been fascinated with Black history. I always liked the movies like The Long Walk Home with Oprah Winfrey, The Color Purple. I like movies where it's a present staff, present day cast, but it's back in the day. So I always movies like
timepieces. Timepieces.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when I saw stuff like that, you see moments, I'm like, man, I wish I can wake up and be with King and be with Malcolm and join the Panthers. And so when I saw this Black Lives Matter movement, I was like, hold on, what is this here? But at the time I was in college and I ended up coming home the winter semester, December of 2014. And when I came, backtrack, June of 2014, I was home for the summer. So I ended up having a chance to kind of figure out different movements. I was trying to find my way in the movements, and I couldn't find anything that was remotely close to what I saw with the Black Lives Matter Los Angeles or Black Lives Matter Oakland or Chicago. But there was a movement that was focusing on raising the minimum wage at the time, called the Fight for 15 movement. And I thought, well, okay, that's the closest. We get a chance to protest, to chant. It's a labor movement. I know Dr. King fought for the poor. So I said, okay, this is a good way to kind of get my feet in the door. And I did that for a while. And then we went into, I started All Shades United, June 14, 2014. I couldn't really put my energy into it because I had to go back to school. So August comes, I go back to school. I'm in Utah, going to Dixie State University. December 2014, I come home. So the Christmas break is over. January comes. It's a new year, 2015. That year is when I realized that. So it's 2 years. So even though I started All Shades in 2014, I really credit my actual year of me actually hitting the ground running, because I did a little protest here and there in 14 with the 515, but this Black Lives Matter activist or this revolutionary, I think that figure was really cultivated in 2015, because that's when they up the ante. Sandra Bland gets killed, and it's just like back to back.
There was a lot going on.
And so August 3rd, I hosted my first rally/protest. And that was August 3rd, 2015 at the MLK statue. And we had about 30 people that came out. About 25 was Hispanics, literally. So my brown brothers came. Me and my mom was the only Blacks. And it was like 2 white people out there. Just 30 of us. And, I wasn't discouraged because I didn't know I didn't know if that was large or small. I didn't really know. I'm like, I'm new to this. We just wanted to put something together. We thought we would have a decent sized crowd from what we saw on the internet, but it wasn't like that serious. We didn't really care. And from that point, I just loved how it felt, and I knew I had a real love not only for the community and how I choose to fight, but I had a love for putting together events and programs and creating settings to bring us together. And so I got hooked, and it
What
became.
was the reaction to that first event? Did you get opposition from others? Like how did they respond to you
Well, I
stepping
think with
out in that manner?
well, I think even the 30 that came out, they only I think knew about it is because most of them was the people I was working with the 515 movement. See, a lot of black
Okay.
people a lot of black people in Vegas, they didn't catch on to that movement because they felt like somebody that work at McDonald's shouldn't get paid on $15 an hour. But that was a big movement in the Hispanic community because
Right.
when in terms of wages, and they sometimes get taken advantage of. And then of course, you always gonna have a few, the good white allies that's gonna support it. So I sent that to that network, and they came to support me and my mom. If it wasn't for me knowing them, it'd have just been her and I. I didn't really know anybody black in Las Vegas. Like I knew a few.
Okay,
I
I
knew
got
like
you.
AK and Franklin G, but I didn't really know anybody until like I started being more coming to events and then being more featured in the news and radio. And then I would get all these random friend requests, and I built up my Vegas support system. But during this time, I'm not even known. I was a minister, but I wasn't even putting that on programs. I was just Stretch Sanders. I wasn't really uh,
Right.
putting myself out there yet. But like anything,
And
when you
then also that's another whole element about
Mhm.
you. Young and ministry. Why that? Why that lane? Um,
it was a calling, like they say in
okay.
church. People say, "What's your calling?" I was called, and I'm glad. I'm grateful. Uh, During the summer, when I first got to school as a freshman in college, that May, and I'm getting baptized, gave my life back to the Lord, and then June, I get into activism, and then a year later, I get more in tune, with activism. But I'm grateful that I got in the ministry first and then the movement because I think
Ministry, then why is that? Why is that? Why are you grateful that you did it that way versus the other?
well, it gave me a code of conduct because King G, when I got in the movement, people say I'm radical, but they don't know how I would have been if it was not for me being saved. It's a whole lot of people uh, who still walking around because I'm saved. Because I think that my old temper in me,
I love the
I
way you put that.
I'm serious. It's a whole lot of people who don't get no idea. They see Minister Stretch because in this movement as a youngster, I got taken advantage of a lot. And so I would be told I'm gonna do an event. I get to the event. I was so young in the movement. I didn't even have a car. I didn't even have a license. So oftentimes I'm arranging rides. I'm having friends pick me up. I'm sometimes walking to see how far it is. I may take the bus to get there, and then they tell me, "Oh,
Right.
something happened, or I can't speak, or give me this
After
rinky-dink
all that
introduction."
struggle to even make the effort to be a part of the movement, you went through struggles, and then to
I
be
just wasn't
turned
getting.
down
I
and
wasn't getting
denied.
taken. I wasn't getting taken serious. I wasn't. People weren't taking me seriously. They was treating me like, and even when I started trying to meet black people in the city, not everybody, because I got some people who supported since day one, but a great majority treated me like a joke. From some of the radio personalities, from some of the politicians, they treated me like a
Right.
literal joke. And so I'm grateful that the ministry it gave me the heart to forgive. It gave me the heart to not take matters in my own hands. Don't fight fire with fire. Some of the principles that some people don't like when it doesn't benefit them. But if you look at it differently, these are principles that do give you a code of conduct. I am not a turn the other cheek preacher. So if you hit me, I'm hitting you back. But I do believe that turn of the cheek is a metaphor not just for physical. Turn of the cheek is in
Right.
terms of when somebody is slandering your name. You don't got to respond to that. You don't got to comment under that. Keep it moving. Rise above emotions. Once it gets physical, all bets are off. But as long as it ain't physical, you ain't hurt my family. Hey, I can walk away from that. And so that's what my Christian principles instilled in me. And so when I would go to these different spaces and people talking reckless to me and trying to get over with murder, I was able to remember, you're a minister, you're trying to do the right thing, just walk away. Because I'm telling you, and not even the community, even in terms of when I was really heavy with the police terrorism work, I probably would have been in jail. You had a lot of activists who are still locked up because they would throw the Molotov cocktails, and they, throwing bricks at the police. I didn't have a heart to do that. Even though I wanted to protest, I'm like, listen, I'm mad at the police.
You wanted to go in deeper, yeah, but
I didn't want to
hurt
nobody. You know what I'm saying? So I think that if it was not for me being a Christian, I probably would have did some stuff. I probably would have said some stuff that was crazy, or I probably would have did some stuff that was crazy due to my anger. Because if you notice the modern day movements, compared to back in the day, it's not a Christian movement. Back in the day, all the leaders were preachers. Today, you'd be shocked if you see preachers in the movement. And so it's hard as a minister when you're in a space like that, because people don't really, most of them don't, they've rejected Christianity, which is okay, but there's no real code of conduct anymore. It's almost like, do your own thing. Hey, it used to be, we fight with those who fight with us. Now it's like, we're going to fight with them because they killed so-and-so, they killed Trayvon, they killed Sandra. So, hey, we're going to do what we got to do. And so that's something.
And doesn't Christianity give you some type of moral base and guideline to kind of stand by, or doesn't it give you, some type of moral? Because
it gave me a moral compass. It gave me a foundation to remember. Just don't stoop to their level. Just focus on the work, focus on the social justice work. Don't stoop to violence. Don't, even though I wanted to. Like I said, a couple times, I probably let my temper get the best of me because I'm younger. I'm fired up. When you get older and realize the Holocaust, the 400-year Holocaust that has happened to our people, you can't discover this and not be upset.
Right.
And when you're working closely with the police, and you're not closely with the police, but working closely against the police, and you start seeing what they're doing to us, how they getting away with it, and we do these marches, they don't even get charged, they don't get arrested.
It's hard not to show true emotion about what you really feel.
Absolutely.
I'm sure that's difficult. Like you say, you're young, you're radical, you're charged up, you're ready to go, you're ready to really fight for what you believe in, and it's hard not to show true emotion out there when you're on the front lines. I've seen you have big, huge community events. I think you did something, and again, my memory, helped me, but I think you did something after Nipsey Hussle was killed. If I can remember, you did a big thing at the statue.
So I just want to add, I didn't host that. I spoke at that. That was hosted by.
You spoke there, okay.
A few brothers, brother Sean Torrey and Corbin Hill. I think a few of their friends. They put that on, and they reached out to me to come and speak, and I was really honored because that was a demographic. That was the people there were people who typically probably wouldn't come to something I host. A lot of them was young. They were into some of, we don't say gangs, we say street tribes. They were into the street tribe life. And so it was cool to better introduce me to a different audience. And what was so beautiful about it was they listened. They listened to me. And I saw them, and as a speaker, you got to, as a person in media, public, you got to know your audience. And so I knew the audience I was dealing with. Like I said, I come from Chicago. I come from, I wasn't in the streets, but I would say of the streets.
A product of a place of the streets. Yeah.
I grew up in Chicago or major cities and live in the inner city and live in the hood and not be influenced in some way. So I knew the politics of it. I knew how to reach these brothers. And so that was a powerful experience for me, to be able to speak in front of these. And to this day, I'm able to tap in with a lot of those brothers from those different organizations. Just from that rally, just from them saying, man, you was the only minister we saw out here. A lot of them, because believe it or not,
I remember that day. It was huge. Everybody came from near and far. It was a hot day. They didn't care. They didn't care about the heat.
It was a good
we all came out and rallied. It was a crazy time. I mean, Nipsey Hussle got killed right in front of his place of business. And, you know, a lot of people were confused about that. And he was such a community activist and person that was trying to build, you know, people in the community and trying to offer, you know, job opportunities. And like the fact that he was murdered right in front of his place of business, it was just hard for all of us. You know what I mean? And I just remember that event. I remember that event, and it was huge. I followed your movement quite a bit when I was living there in Vegas, and this is what I want to ask. I know that you were very active in the community and things like that. What made you want to run for mayor?
Great question. So I remember it was October of 2018. I had just came home from speaking at college, Southern Utah University. I was a keynote speaker out there, and I remember being like, "Man, you think I would feel a little more good about what I do?" And I felt like I was reflecting, and sometimes reflection it can be dangerous or it can be a good thing, right? Because you get to reflect and be like, "Oh man, look how far I come." And you
Right.
reflect and be like, hold on, like, what have I been doing? Like, I haven't done really anything. Like, has this been worth it? And so I was having that type of reflection, you know, the bad reflection. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, I've gave up so much. I gave up college. I've sacrificed a lot of my life. And it was almost like, what? You know, like, what have I really, I'm still broke. I'm not where I want to be. I don't have the opportunities I would like to have. I didn't even have my own vehicle. You know, I'm like, well, is this?
Right.
But I've given my entire life, literally, to better other people's lives in Vegas, and I'm still struggling. I'm still, you know, and I could have sold out long time ago, you know, but my soul is not for sale, and neither is my community. But it was still kind of like, man, like, is this worth it? And so I'm praying, I'm meditating, I'm just laying on my bed, on my back, and I'm like, just, you know, asking God, like, God, what's next? Like, show me what's the next level up out of this. And it just hit me, Queen G. I cannot make this up. It hit me. I saw it. It was like, run for mayor. My mama come out the room. She come out in the living room where I'm laying. And I said, Mom, I think I'm going to run for mayor. She's like, boy, you talking crazy. Go lay back down. Finish your day. So she go in the room. And I'm like, yeah, I'm bugging. I'm tripping. I wake up. I dreamed about it. I saw that I won. I saw all this. And I was like, it's on, Ma. I'm running for mayor. At the time, me and my wife now, but she was my girlfriend. We was only together for a month. I told her, I'm running for mayor. Like, I'm going to do this. And we assembled a little dream team, and we made it happen. So this is why people kill me when they say, well, you should have ran for this. You should have. What part of I didn't choose, I was called, don't you understand?
Called to that. Oh, my God.
It was this was not something I chose. And the reason why I do that, G, you don't go from saying from October up or October back, I was the brother who opposed. I was leading don't vote movements. I was telling folks we would go to the voting polls driving past saying, don't vote, don't vote. That was me. You don't go from that type of thinking to saying I'm gonna run for mayor. Come on. God changed that.
And listen.
Wait, behold, all things become new. So sometimes the greatest change is when it's not even your choice. That was out of my control. And that's why I was so willing to do it, because I felt like when something's on my heart so heavy, I got to be obedient.
And it won't go away.
It's
not it won't shake you.
And so that was a great experience for me. I was the youngest at that time and to now to run for mayor in the city of Las Vegas. And it was a beautiful experience. As of now, it's a no-go for running for not only mayor in this city, but for any public office. I don't think it's worth it. I don't feel like this city is really where we to understand a candidate like me. Now, we got some other candidates that's a little more clean cut. It's a little more good old boy, go along to get along. But that's not me. I'm not going along to get along. If I don't like it, I'm calling it out. You know, and I can't, they think you be running to run for office. But you're judging my criteria as an activist, as an organizer. An organizer is not a politician. Those are two different roles. When you run for that role, the game changes. So you can't be mad.
Let me ask you this.
You know, we
What
upset
was
that
it like?
President Obama, he wasn't the
Go
Barack
ahead.
Obama as a president or a senator that he was as an organizer, but it's two different positions. When you get in that system, the game will change. Then you got some cities where the brothers are a little more radical and they can kind of push the buck a little more, be a little more progressive, because there's some progressive candidates, but you got to look where they are. You got to look at the states they're in. You got to look at the cities they're in. Las Vegas,
Right.
it's one of the more newest major cities in the country. Vegas is the only city I know, in Nevada is the only state I know still doing first blacks. First black this, the first black that, of recent important titles. And so this city is not there yet to, I think, to take on me. Because if I came on and ran, I would flip Vegas upside down. And so, and I'm not running to win.
You're too real and raw to, you know, follow those type of guidelines that are. Yeah, that's what I hear you saying. Like I'm a little too radical to follow these particular rules that are being presented
because
under that.
We're on the bring change, Queen G. Even when I ran for mayor, I had one of the most progressive platforms I think any person ever had. I was talking about, I literally had a black agenda. Literally, I had a black agenda. I had an agenda for our brown family. I had an agenda for poor communities. You know, I had a whole game plan. You know, nobody was excluded. Everybody was included, from LGBTQ, old, young, black, white, red, yellow, brown. It didn't matter. I had a progressive, empowerment, multiracial coalition. I had a platform that represented all Las Vegas. It was Vegas strong for everyone, because we say Vegas strong, but it's only Vegas strong when it's convenient. You know, it's not Vegas strong, it's white folks strong, because everybody else is included in that. And so I said, no, we need to make not just the white Vegas strong, but everybody strong. You can't say Vegas strong, but then the people that live on J Street,
you exclude other entities under that. Yeah.
We got more of a homeless population than anywhere in the world. How's that Vegas strong? That's not Vegas strong. People sleeping at Mulaski Park, Hunches Park, on the street, Fort Master. That ain't Vegas strong. We Vegas strong, but we got some sports teams now, and y'all can live good and eat good in Summerlin. So I had a whole mission to flip that. But again, I was very bitter when I lost.
And then you have been out in the community to understand what the community needs were. I would think it would have been smart for, you know, that city to choose you, because you were out there with the people. You understood what the real raw needs were of the community, and abroad. Like I think you understood Vegas, period. You know, what bring in a good balance, you know what I'm saying, to that city. So let me ask you this. Once you got into that position of running for mayor, what was that like? Because for us that don't know what it felt like to be in your shoes, what was it like to be in those shoes of actually running? Did you get a lot of objection? You know, tell us what that felt like.
I can honestly tell you, this is my experience. People may feel different, but my experience, Las Vegas as a whole played me. And that was the one experience I was really finna throw my hands up, because I felt, and it wasn't people say, well, people lose, Stretch. It wasn't that, because when you get into a competition, the chances are you can lose. I didn't care that I lost. I cared about how people would look me in my face and tell me, you're not going to win, you're too young. I cared about the fact that people who I thought was my friend, I couldn't even get them to come knock on doors with me. That to me was, you guys made this experience what it was not supposed to be. You make this a horrible experience for me, you know. And thank God I was able to not be bitter about it, because I was bitter for at least a year, because I felt like it was a joke. I had a sour taste in my mouth for politics. I'm thinking, you know, I was like, you know what, this is why I should have never voted. This is why I should have kept my same mentality, because it's exactly what I thought. I now feel a little more different. I now feel that politics can be good for our community. We just got to do it the right way. So I do believe in voting. I do encourage voting. I think that's what God wanted me to see. He knew that I wasn't going to embrace that theology unless I got it in myself. Because now you got to have people vote for you, which means you're going to vote for them. And so it was something I needed. It was an experience I needed to elevate me. But overall, Queen G.
And do you think that they just weren't prepared for someone your age? Like, is it an age thing?
I believe we can go on and on about what could have caused it, you know, but At the end of the day, for me, it was thumbs down. Like if I had to go to Lowe's and get like 10,000 out of order signs, I would just go around people's neck, out of order, out of order, out of order, and just start dropping these out of order signs. Out of order. You know what I'm saying? Like the churches didn't get behind me, like literally, like people. And I think it was also I was naive. I had this vision. If my vision would have been lived, it would have been. I mean, I had a whole game plan. Like we finna do this. Like it's finna blow up. And I came out like, hey, and they was like, no, start over, go back. And I was like, hey, like it was so disappointing. But I want to always put positivity out with that. It was also some good things.
They felt like, okay, he good enough to be out here in the community with the people, but mayor, mayor, you know what I mean? Was it that? Was it their ignorance?
But I'm not opposed to that thought. I'm not. It's real to be leery when a 23-year-old says I'm running for mayor. That's real. You could be like, okay, hold on, brother. Like, I'm not saying don't vet me out. I'm not saying don't have questions. I'm not saying don't try to figure out what my mind is at. The issue is one of the things. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. That's all I care about. Right. It was the delivery. It was the approach. I was 23 years old.
But I felt like, why not you? I felt like you were the perfect.
But again,
choice.
If you want to support who you want to support, but how can you not get behind a 23-year-old brother, a young dude? Come on,
with vision that understands what the people really need.
Got the resume to back it up, and y'all look at me like, But again, the beautiful thing of it though, Queen G, was I met people like yourself. You was my media person. Everywhere I was, you was right there. And so it was a lot of people like yourself that believed in me. And that's the only reason why. Because I told my mom, like, Mom, maybe we should just stop. You know, she was like, no, we're gonna finish this thing out. And so I was grateful. I had a very supportive shout out to the Sanders for Mayor campaign team. I had a very supportive campaign team. I took a lot of my old All Shades United members, and they came and joined forces with the mayor campaign. My wife, but girlfriend at the time, was very supportive, and siblings. People really in my immediate circle believed in me. For the first time, all of my friends voted for the first time, and that was for me.
Woo! So and that to me is the real power in it. Is that for the first time, those many numbers came out and actually put their vote in.
583 people voted for me. 583. That may not be a whole lot to some, but to me, that was something that I'm proud of.
Right. And you taught them, how placing your vote is powerful. It can make a difference. And I vote and things like that. I didn't understand it until, I voted some years ago. I was like, ooh, okay. I can choose this, I can choose that, I can choose that. But when I saw that you were going out, for mayor, I was so in support of that and so behind you and so believed in you. And I thought that the youth was on our city side, if you know what I mean, in Las Vegas. I thought the fact that you were young gave you more time to do what you had to do.
But I also believe
to turn that city around.
But I also believe,
you know what I mean?
I believe if I reran, I would be pretty close. If not win. And I say that because I have some strategies. I'm also, you gotta understand, this was 3 years ago when I put my name in that hat. So I had 3 years of meeting more people. I had 3 years of more experience. I had 3 years to gain more wisdom, more education, to groom myself more as a speaker, as a community leader. My organization is successful. I now have my own headquarters, which we could work.
Good for you.
So a lot of things have changed. Where if I did run, I think I'll be very successful. I will be able to, because part of it too was the Goodmans got this city such on lock. I didn't get any exposure. The news didn't do any stories on me, and it was deliberate. It was deliberate because they know that If the masses would have found out about a 23, 24-year-old running for mayor, you never knew. You never know. Because again, people vote for the name. If they keep hearing your name, I was only really known in the Black circuit. I didn't get a chance to get out to the other communities due to lack of resources, funds, and a lack of media exposure. So I feel like now,
and those type of campaigns, and I will tell you from a media aspect, they cost quite a bit of money. And unless you have raised the funds yourself or whatever, it costs a lot of money to get out there in the masses of media world that you need to get behind you, if you know what I mean, to really tell the story from different outlets in different cities and things like that. It takes some money. It takes favor. It takes calling in so many favors. You know what I mean?
I mean, to run for mayor, they say it's a $500,000 race. $500,000. You can run a decent one, okay one on $100,000. That's basic. We ran ours off $6,000 we raised, and that was enough to get the basics: website, business cards, T-shirts, the basics. Right. Nothing major. But again, it was a great experience for me.
What at this time are some of the things that are needed for your nonprofit organization?
So some of the things that we need, I always say, it's just servant. We don't say volunteers, servantteers. Needing people just come out and serve with us, be a support system, and realize this is for all of us. I hate when people act like they're doing me a favor by saying, I see y'all, look at y'all. No. This is for all of us, right? You talk about village, you're part of this village. Now, again, I understand we not all going to lead the village. We not all going to be the ones that carry the village, but we all should be partaking in that village. We all should be participating in that village. That sister down the street, who needs a mentor, that brother who needs a mentor, it should be a man or woman ready to step up, right? That older lady who can get her purse snatched, it should be some brothers I can say, hey man, let's go out at night and patrol these neighborhoods. Come on, make sure Miss Mother Bell get home safe. It can't just be on me. It can't just be on New Era Las Vegas. It can't just be on the Stretch for Change Foundation. It has to be on all of us. We have to have a collective responsibility in the uplift of our people. And I think that people, we got so comfortable with just watching. Listen, stop watching and get involved. So I say that's the best way. I'm not gonna be the one to say, give me money or listen, the best way to get involved. You get involved, you will see yourself what we best need, whether it be money.
You need those bodies to show up, basically.
Show up.
And show out. Yeah, show up and show out. I remember when we were out serving the community under Operation Bring Your Best. Oh my God, it's the numbers of volunteers that really, really, really came through that made the difference for the people. You know what I mean? So I can understand what you're saying. It's the actual physical numbers. It's the peoples that, show interest. They get up and they change the lives by way of making a difference by showing up. We're not saying have $1 million to give. We're not saying that. It's your physical contribution of your presence. And I'm telling you, Operation Bring Your Best was one of the best community things that we ever got involved in. We were also homeless in Las Vegas. And I'm a public figure, bro. So that's when my eyes became aware of the crisis, for the homeless in the city of Las Vegas, is when we became homeless ourselves. I didn't we didn't do a pity party. We didn't go through all that. We just stood up and fought, and we did what we had to do to get up on our feet. And but in the meanwhile, before we even got all the way up on our feet, we wanted to serve others too, because it was so bad. So many people sleeping out on the streets. It's the city of glamour and glitz, but yet you have this, impoverished whole crisis here. You know what I'm saying? And you got certain programs and organizations that are out there fighting on behalf of that, but then you got the city fighting them for fighting it. Like how are you gonna? I experienced. We got our foot wet with that, getting out there and finding out that they fight you hard for fighting the crisis. It's like, how that's supposed to work? You know what I mean? You should be embarrassed that these people is under these you know, freeway passes sleeping down here. You should be embarrassed of that. But they would prefer to get out there and bulldoze, you know, the areas and knock the bases down where these homeless people live than to have you see that and
And
you know, be aware that there's a bad homeless crisis out here.
it's kind of
We really got to see,
no,
you
I'm
know,
saying
what
out of mind. People, you know, I have to remind people all the time that when you question the war on the poor, the poverty war, you have to also understand that it's a money thing, right? You know, poverty is a business. You know, being poor
it
is a business.
is.
It doesn't benefit those who are in it, but it's a business. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because as long as there's poverty, there's crime. As long as
Right.
there's crime, there's excuses they have to say this is why we over police these communities. As long as it's over policing, there's black and brown people getting shot in the back and being killed. As long as we being killed, we being traumatized. We have PTSD. As long as that's taking place, we have poor mental thinking, and we have poor mindsets, which now we can't even think for ourselves and create a vision. If we don't have a vision, like the Bible says, we perish. It's an ongoing cycle, right? But if they end the poverty, then people will be successful, which means we don't have to do crime to survive. If there's no crime, we can get the police out of our communities. If the police leave, PTSD leaves, PTSD leaves, better thinking leaves. Better thinking comes. Better thinking comes. From the better thinking comes, you change your mindset or your mentality, change your reality. So you see how it's the complete opposite. We can go up or down based on poverty.
Yeah, yeah. You heard of Holy Smoke Misfit Missionaries? I love them. They are so
I don't think I have.
on the front. You haven't? Oh my goodness. They they have a cannabis angle to solve the issue with homelessness, but I just love their mission. They're always out there feeding the homeless because there's a community that's under the grounds of Las Vegas. They're in the cubbies. Yeah, in the tunnels. Yeah. Um, it again, not getting a lot of support because people don't want to be faced with the reality that this is a real crisis out there in Las Vegas, you know.
And not just in Las Vegas, sis, all over the world, you know, all over
it
the
is,
country.
yeah.
One thing, me being, you know, I've never been out of the country, but I'm a global organizer, right? So, you know, I ain't out of the country. I know what's coming. And not only do I know what's coming, well, I know what my heart is at. I'm a global organizer. So I believe that we just can't be concerned about Alabama. We also got to be concerned about, you know, people in Angola, people who are sleeping poverty out there, people who are sleeping in India and Calcutta in the drains, as well as those in the drains of Las Vegas. This is a global fight. It's also a race fight, but it's a class fight. It's a race struggle, it's a class struggle. So as a revolutionary, I recognize that the revolution we have to care about things on a global scale. Of course, we got to take care of home first and focus on home. And that's why I pour into Las Vegas. This is not my birth home or the home I was raised in, but this is where I am. So this is my home. And so I'm not just going to come to the table. I'm going to bring something to it. But I want people to recognize that there's a war on the poor, a war on Black people, a war on people of color all over the world. It's whatever happens there, happens everywhere.
Yeah.
And Dr. Martin King Jr. said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Meaning, it may not be your household, but you should still be concerned. It's a threat. It may not be in your town or your state or your city, but that affects you, that impacts you. And it goes back again to what you said, which I'm so grateful that you started off with that village. I can't stress that. We got to get back in the village. Because when you have a village thinking ain't when the police is sitting on our neck for 8 minutes, we standing around watching. The village will grab that officer and pin him down to the ground. That's a village. Don't record me getting choked out. The village ain't gonna know that the little girl down the street don't have clothes or her mothers don't have food, and you just be like, well, yeah, that's Keisha. She's still on drugs. No, the village is like, sister, can we get you cleaned up? What do you need? What do your babies need?
What can we help you with? Yeah.
What can we help you with? Because that's what we're here for, right? It's to help. It's to be blessed to others, not just be selfish and think about you. No, because no other community thinks like that. Every other community It's doing for self. We the only ones don't got a pot or a window. People can put two and two together, and always trying to do kumbaya and we all got to come together. No, we don't. Everybody ain't gonna come together. Everybody ain't gonna come. Everybody's not gonna make it in. So we got to get those who want to be there, who have a heart to be there, and get as many as we can, save as many as we can. We have to be concerned with the conditions that we didn't create. You know, people be, well, so-and-so this, NIGGAs, we can't never do anything right. But you ain't blaming those who put us in the condition to not do right. We talk about crabs in a bucket, in a barrel. Who created the bucket? Who created the barrel? We have to start disliking each other. This thing was socially engineered to make us hate ourselves. And when you take a people and strip them for 400 years of knowledge of self, the real truth of God, the real truth of their culture, the real truth of who they are as a person, you take who they are. And then you take the knowledge, you take the love, because you can't love what you don't know. You can't love who you don't know. So now we don't have no love, we don't have knowledge. You don't love yourself, so you can't love others. Now we got hate among one another. You can't support who you don't love. So it's an ongoing cycle that was engineered. Village, our best bet is to go back to being a village, go back to caring about one another, go back to being there for each other. And as I wrap it up, that's the focus of New Era Las Vegas. We're a village organization. Our goal as New Era Las Vegas is to be the vanguard, the vanguard, the modern day vanguard. We call ourselves first responders of the hood. We go in neighborhoods the police don't want to go in. We don't go in judging. We don't go in being critical. We do have 5 levels of accountability, which is self, household, community, politics, and economics. Meaning we hold one another accountable. Yes, white people are 99.9% responsible. White folks are 99% responsible for our condition. But Black people are 99% responsible if we stay in it, if we stay there. So how long are we going to keep blaming the white man? Yes, rightfully so. They're the blame. But it's on us
to go ahead and make the change from the foundation.
We're gonna keep saying the man threw the crap on us, or we're gonna realize he threw the crap on us. I'm gonna move out the way so I can stop getting crapped on. We're gonna clean one another off, and we're gonna keep it moving and do something for ourselves. That's what New Era Las Vegas is about. That's what Minister Sanders is about. Our goal, our mission, my goal, my mission is to liberate anyone I come in contact with. And even if people listening say, well, hold on, is this just for Black people? Listen, I got a heart for all, but I am focused. 80%, 85%, if not more, of my ministry is geared to my own. It's not personal. It's not racist, because Black people cannot be racist. Racism is a power thing. We don't have power like that, like our white counterparts. It's not a prejudice message, because to be prejudiced is to judge before the fact. I'm not being judgmental when I say that we were stolen, we was robbed, we was terrorized. Those are facts. And so I'm not being judgmental. I'm not being prejudiced. What I am is I'm doing what every person in that community do, which is look out for their own. It's the reason, Queen G, why you don't see big civil rights leaders in the Asian community. Name some big civil rights leaders in that community or the Hispanic community. They don't have any, because they get their resources and they let their money do the talking. See, we let money rule us. They know how to rule money and let money get to where they got to go. But we would do anything for money. It's a different way of thinking. But
and since I've moved away from Vegas, I understand the difference of now taking authority over that money to make it work for you. I understand the difference now. It's I didn't know that concept either before this. You know what I mean? But now, and when I come back to Vegas, my God.
Okay.
When I come back, it's gonna be on and popping. As a matter of fact, I'm coming back May 2nd, and I'm doing 2 events that day in Vegas. I'm working on it now and putting my plans together. So I would love for you to come out. One is at the place, and then the other is at a different private location. I'm doing a book signing and some other things. I want to see y'all faces. I miss my Vegas family so much.
Maybe I could pop out because May 2nd is when my wife's gonna be in labor. So maybe the first.
Oh, okay.
If you be here a little early, I could try to see you before we get situated with that. And then
right.
On vacation.
Congratulations, by the way, on being an expected father. Yes, and I'm so excited for you guys. You are a beautiful family. Your wife is amazingly beautiful.
Thank you.
Um, and I just know you're so super uber excited. And I'm gonna tell you what changes anybody is becoming a parent. Becoming a parent is a whole nother level of life. Uh,
Yeah,
and
I'm already feeling that.
yeah, it's a big responsibility. It's when I look at my little faces every single day and get them ready for school and just the personalities that are formed, and it's just, oh, it's amazing watching them grow. My twins are now about to be 9. Can you believe that already?
Oh,
They're about to be 9, the little ones that we had when we were out there in Vegas.
that's awesome.
um, and it's just so powerful. That's something, again, you remember earlier when you talked about how you were chosen to become mayor from God. God chooses us to become parents too, I believe, and it's a spiritual mission from God. I don't think it's not a simple process, but it's something definitely that I'm so happy that I was chosen to be. I'm so happy that I was chosen to be a mother. And I have 7 children, and I'm now becoming a grandparent too. So grandparenting is a whole nother level, you know. I'm expecting 2 grandbabies soon. So I don't know. Get ready, Stretch. Get ready.
Yes, indeed.
Get ready. Give us your information as we close this interview out, on how we can reach you through the nonprofit organization, and give us your information.
Absolutely. So people can contact us. We have an Instagram page, New Era Las Vegas, as well on Instagram, Facebook, New Era Las Vegas. My Facebook for myself personally, Minister Stretch Sanders, and then Instagram _official_stretch. So _official_stretch. And you know, Google Stretch Sanders. Listen, I'll pop up and connect with us. You know, we do have our headquarters at Hidden Canyon Plaza, 3925 North MLK Boulevard, which is Suite 211. And so connect with us. Again, you know, we have that office, but our real office is in the streets. We're in the communities 365.
Right.
I'm not hard to find. I'm not hard to reach. All you gotta do is go on Instagram, Facebook, pull up my latest flyer and be like, he gonna be there this weekend. I'm gonna come meet him. And I would love to build with you. So Queen G, I'm honored. Again, this was an awesome experience. I appreciate you for, you know, as you say, let's go to work, always going to work.
Definitely. Oh my God. And like I said, you're so personable that you even picked up the phone and just checked on me. How are you doing? I just love your energy. I think you're a dope person.
Thank
You know
you.
what I'm saying? And I'm just so happy to see your life blossoming into what it's becoming. Like I'm so happy to see the man that you're becoming, the husband, the father that you're getting ready to be. All of that is just, it just makes me smile because I know you personally, and it's a blessing to see what God is doing in your life. And I just I would say to you, keep focused. You know, stay focused, bro. Stay focused. And I know you don't care much about opinions and all that, so that's a good thing. But just don't ever let anyone, take you off of your path.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And when we're chosen, you know what comes with that. It's always a challenge when you're chosen.
That's right.
Even some stuff we don't even understand.
No.
It's a lot of stuff we're still learning on our own, when we're chosen for something. So, I'm just asking God to continue to bless your life and to continue to keep you and your family, and keep giving you vision. You know what I'm saying? And I would just say to you, stay focused. Stay focused.
Yeah, I received that.
Don't
Absolutely.
let nobody take you off the path.
And that's a beautiful reminder, because I think a lot of us we lose focus, especially, the pandemic, as I call it, pandemic. It was
Mm-hmm. Oh
planned
yeah.
to
Mm-hmm.
distract a lot of us, and a lot of people haven't even bounced back yet. I ain't talking about financial, I'm talking about mentally. Just being able to
Right.
process having this good paying job to now you got to go and apply for welfare. That's a lot on some people, But I want people to just be encouraged to know that what God has for you, nobody, no man, no enemy can take that from you. So we just got
Right.
to all stay focused. And part of focusing is always being willing to always have most to readjust your vision. That's all, because your vision changes. So you focus on one thing, and yeah, you focus, you looking at it, but is your vision clear? So take time to be
Right.
clear with what your purpose is, so you can readjust your focus. You take pictures, you always tap the screen to zoom in and get a little more clear, to really focus. You got to clear it. You may wipe your camera, so sometimes we gotta readjust, clean the camera lens off. And so all the setbacks that we're all experiencing, we just clean the camera off. That's all. We just refocus it,
Right.
redirecting ourselves. It's gonna come up from here. So, I'm so grateful, appreciative to be on the show, and I look forward to building back with you.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for being such an amazing guest and being so authentic and true, and giving us your truth from your standpoint of what you've experienced. I appreciate that. I don't think nobody ever heard your story from this standpoint.
Nope. Nope.
So I hope to see you in May when I come out there. And again, I wish you guys the best as a family, and as you get ready to become a father, that God would definitely bless your life and your family and continue to keep you during this time. And thank you for being a guest on the show and taking this time out of your busy schedule to come and bless us here at Queen G Live Experience. I really appreciate it.
It was an honor. I look forward to coming back.
Definitely keep us updated too. Anytime you have any new updates, please, we will put you on here. Okay? I want you to know that. All right?
Appreciate that. All right, Queen. Let me know if you need anything.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Have a good.
Oh my God. Wonderful guy. Wonderful vision. I'm so grateful for him. Him and I being friends and just being able to keep in touch with each other. And like I said, he personally picked up the phone and called me and checked on me. And that goes a long way with me. Very genuine guy. I'm really, really happy to see the growth in his life from the time I've met him to now, and what God is doing in his life. So y'all listen, that was a really great interview. Thank y'all for watching and tuning in, and please share these interviews out to different people, y'all, throughout social media. We could use your support with that. I appreciate y'all for watching. Thank you so much. This is your girl, Queen Z of Queen Z Live Experience. I'm out of here, y'all. Peace. Have a good day.